For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On April 9, 2005, twin brothers Lucas and Mateo Silva, both 11, disappeared while walking home from their weekly swimming lesson in the coastal town of Mar del Plata, Argentina. The boys had been attending classes at the Municipal Aquatic Center when they vanished during their usual route through the Port District, leaving behind only their swim bags at a bus stop. Local police conducted searches throughout the seaside community while their disappearance became a troubling mystery in the tight-knit neighborhood. For 5 years, their fate remained unknown while the case haunted their family and the local community. Then, in July 2010, maintenance workers draining the city's main water reservoir made a shocking discovery that would finally reveal what had happened to the Silva twins during their walk home from swimming class. This is the complete story of their disappearance and the tragic accident that had been hidden beneath the city's water supply for half a decade. April 9, 2005, was a typical autumn Saturday in Mar del Plata, Argentina's premier coastal resort city, where 11-year-old twins Lucas and Mateo Silva were finishing their weekly swimming lesson at the Centro Aquático Municipal. The identical twins had been taking lessons for 2 years as part of their parents' efforts to ensure they were strong swimmers in a city surrounded by ocean and waterways. Carlos and Elena Silva worked hard to provide opportunities for their sons despite their modest means. Carlos was employed at the port's fish processing plant while Elena cleaned offices in the evening, allowing them to afford swimming lessons and other activities for Lucas and Mateo in Mar del Plata's active community programs. The twins were known throughout their neighborhood for their close bond and shared interests, particularly their love of swimming and fascination with the large ships and industrial equipment they saw around Mar del Plata's busy port. They were responsible children who followed established routines and rarely caused concern for their parents. Their swimming instructor, Professor Miguel Herrera, later told investigators that both boys had participated normally in the 2 p.m. lesson and had seemed excited about an upcoming competition at their school. The lesson focused on backstroke technique, and both twins had shown steady improvement in their swimming abilities. The class ended at 3:30 p.m., and Lucas and Mateo collected their swim bags before leaving the aquatic center to catch the bus home to their neighborhood near the Port District. Their usual route took them through several blocks of the city center before reaching the bus stop where they would travel to their family's apartment. The twins' usual journey home involved a 15-minute walk from the aquatic center to the main bus terminal, where they would catch the Route 12 bus that served their neighborhood. They had made this trip dozens of times and were familiar with the route and safety procedures their parents had taught them. Around 3:50 p.m., several witnesses saw Lucas and Mateo walking together through the commercial district near the port, carrying their distinctive blue swim bags and appearing to be in good spirits. Shop owners along their route later remembered seeing the twins because they were regular customers who often stopped to buy snacks after swimming lessons. The last confirmed sighting of the Silva twins came at 4:10 p.m. when bus driver Roberto Fernandez saw them approaching the Route 12 bus stop. However, when the bus arrived at 4:15 p.m., the twins were nowhere to be found, though their swim bags were discovered on the bench at the bus stop. The abandoned swim bags contained their wet swimsuits, towels, and personal items, but there was no indication of why the boys had left them behind or where they had gone. The bags appeared to have been placed rather than dropped, suggesting the twins had set them down intentionally. When Lucas and Mateo failed to arrive home by 5 p.m. as expected, Elena Silva contacted the aquatic center to confirm they had attended their lesson. Learning that they had left on schedule but apparently never boarded their bus home, she immediately began calling neighbors and searching local areas where the boys might have gone. By 6:30 p.m., when the twins had still not been located, Carlos Silva contacted the Mar del Plata police to report his sons missing. The initial response focused on the area between the aquatic center and the bus stop, where witnesses confirmed the boys had been seen but where their trail ended with the abandoned swim bags. Detective Inspector Ana Morales took charge of the investigation and immediately organized searches of the Port District and surrounding areas where curious children might explore or potentially encounter dangers. The port area contained numerous industrial facilities, construction sites, and waterfront areas that could attract adventurous boys. The investigation revealed that Lucas and Mateo were responsible children with no history of wandering off or failing to follow their parents' instructions about getting home safely. Their disappearance during a familiar routine suggested that something unexpected had occurred during their walk to the bus stop. Search teams systematically examined the route between the aquatic center and bus terminal, looking for evidence of where the twins might have gone after abandoning their swim bags. The commercial district contained numerous shops, alleyways, and side streets where children might follow interesting discoveries. The port area received particular attention due to its proximity to the bus stop and the twins' known fascination with ships and maritime activities. However, initial searches of accessible waterfront areas revealed no evidence of the missing boys or circumstances that might explain their disappearance. The search operation expanded over the following week to include specialized teams and volunteer groups familiar with Mar del Plata's complex urban layout. The city's combination of tourist areas, industrial facilities, and residential neighborhoods provided numerous locations where missing children might be found. Interviews with other children and parents from the swimming program revealed that Lucas and Mateo had recently been talking about exploring areas near the port that they found interesting. However, no specific locations or plans were identified that might direct search efforts. The case generated significant media attention throughout Argentina's coastal region, as the story of missing twins captured public sympathy and concern. Tips and reported sightings came from throughout the province, though none provided concrete evidence about the boys' whereabouts. Detective Morales investigated the possibility of abduction or criminal activity, though no ransom demands were received and the family had no known enemies or circumstances that might make them targets. The twins' routine behavior suggested they had encountered something that attracted their attention rather than being taken by force. After 3 weeks of intensive searching, the formal operation was scaled back, though the investigation remained active and families continued organizing volunteer searches throughout Mar del Plata's extensive waterfront and industrial areas. Throughout 2006 and 2007, the Silva family maintained hope while organizing annual memorial events and continuing their own searches of areas that official teams might have missed. The case remained visible in local media and generated periodic tips that required investigation. In 2008, children's clothing found near the port initially raised hopes for resolution, but the items were determined to be unrelated to the missing twins after forensic examination. Such discoveries occasionally renewed attention to the case but didn't provide breakthrough evidence. The investigation continued with periodic reviews and follow-up on new information, but no concrete leads emerged about Lucas and Mateo's fate. The case became part of Mar del Plata's collection of unsolved mysteries, representing the dangers that urban environments could present to children. Advanced search technologies became available during the late 2000s, offering some hope that evidence might be discovered through improved methods. However, without more specific information about where the twins had gone, these technologies couldn't provide insights into the 5-year-old case. July 15, 2010, began as a routine maintenance day for Mar del Plata's municipal water department, which was conducting the annual cleaning and inspection of Reservoir No. 3, the city's largest water storage facility located in the industrial district near the port. The massive concrete reservoir, built in the 1970s, required complete draining every 5 years for thorough cleaning and structural inspection. Water Department Supervisor Eduardo Ramos was overseeing the process, which involved pumping out over 50 million liters of water to expose the reservoir's interior surfaces. Around 11:30 a.m., as the water level dropped to approximately 1/4 capacity, maintenance worker Jorge Castro noticed unusual objects becoming visible in the deepest section of the reservoir. What initially appeared to be debris or construction materials proved to be much more significant upon closer examination. The objects included what appeared to be children's clothing and personal items that seemed inconsistent with typical reservoir debris. As more water was drained, the scope of the discovery became apparent. Skeletal remains were visible along with items that appeared to have been in the water for several years. Recognizing the potential significance of the discovery, Ramos immediately halted the draining operation and contacted both police authorities and the water department's emergency management team. Within hours, the reservoir was secured as a potential crime scene. Detective Inspector Morales, who had maintained oversight of the Silva twins case, was among the first investigators to examine the discovery. The reservoir's location in the industrial district near where the boys had disappeared immediately suggested a possible connection to the 5-year-old missing persons case. Forensic analysis confirmed that the remains found in the water reservoir belonged to Lucas and Mateo Silva. Personal items recovered from the water included clothing and belongings that families immediately recognized as belonging to their sons. The investigation revealed that the twins had apparently gained access to the reservoir facility during their walk home from swimming class, possibly through security gaps or infrastructure that allowed unauthorized entry to the restricted area. Evidence suggested that Lucas and Mateo had fallen into the reservoir and had been unable to escape due to the steep concrete walls and deep water. Their swimming skills, while adequate for pools and supervised environments, had been insufficient for the challenging conditions in the massive industrial reservoir. The reservoir's design included no internal ladders or emergency exits that would have allowed the boys to climb out once they had fallen into the water. The facility's remote location in the industrial area meant that any calls for help would not have been heard by potential rescuers. The 5-year delay in discovering their remains was explained by the reservoir's operational schedule, which required complete draining only at extended intervals. The boys' remains had been hidden beneath millions of liters of city water supply throughout the lengthy search operation. The discovery brought closure to the Silva family after 5 years of uncertainty, though learning the circumstances of their sons' deaths confirmed their worst fears about the accident that had claimed both boys simultaneously. The case prompted immediate safety improvements at all municipal water facilities, including enhanced security measures and emergency equipment designed to prevent similar accidents. The twins' deaths highlighted dangerous gaps in infrastructure security that could allow children access to potentially deadly utility installations. Water Department Supervisor Ramos and his maintenance team were recognized for their immediate notification of authorities when they realized the significance of their discovery. Their professional response ensured that evidence was properly preserved and that the family finally received answers. The reservoir where Lucas and Mateo were found was permanently modified to include safety features and emergency exits, while the facility's security was enhanced to prevent unauthorized access by curious children or others who might accidentally encounter similar dangers. The municipal government implemented comprehensive safety reviews of all utility installations, identifying and correcting security deficiencies that could present hazards to public safety. The twins' case became a catalyst for city-wide infrastructure improvements. Lucas and Mateo Silva's story serves as both a tragedy and an important reminder of the hidden dangers that urban infrastructure can present to curious children, even in areas that appear secure and inaccessible. The 5-year delay in discovering their fate illustrates how industrial facilities can completely conceal evidence of accidents, even during extensive search operations. The water reservoir had hidden their remains while continuing to supply the city throughout the investigation period. For Argentine municipal authorities and water management organizations, the case provided crucial lessons about facility security and the need for comprehensive safety measures at installations that could present dangers to public safety. The persistence of the Silva family in keeping their son's case active and maintaining public awareness contributed to the recognition of the reservoir discovery as potentially significant when the remains were found. The case demonstrates how routine maintenance work can sometimes expose evidence of tragic accidents that have been hidden for years, providing unexpected resolution to cases that seemed impossible to solve. Municipal infrastructure continues to be improved throughout Argentina, with officials now more aware of both the operational requirements and the safety hazards that utility facilities can present to surrounding communities. As of 2010, new safety protocols require comprehensive security assessments and emergency equipment at all water treatment and storage facilities, ensuring that the infrastructure serving communities cannot become deadly traps for curious visitors. The Silva twins' legacy lives on through improved municipal safety standards and the continued vigilance of utility operators who work to protect communities from infrastructure hazards, while their story serves as a powerful reminder that even essential public services can contain hidden dangers that demand constant attention and improvement.